afternoon, everybody. How is it going? My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live here Thursday, January 9th, 2024. Thank you all so much for tuning in here, rumble.com/LFATV. If you're watching anywhere else, make sure you guys head on over to Rumble. Follow the page, rumble.com/LoudMajorityUS so that you keep getting the updates because depending on where you're watching, you're probably not getting many of the updates. Also, once again, the studio is in repair, which is why I am so close to the damn camera at the moment, but that we're going to be fixing the studio up over the course of the next week, so do bear with me, please. Do bear with me, everybody. We've got more news coming out of the horrific fires in Southern California, in Los Angeles. The scenes that are coming out of LA right now are devastating. They are they're post-apocalyptic. It looks like you're watching a damn video game. If I'm being totally honest with you, it is absolutely sad. Unbelievable. Some of the worst fires, as a matter of fact, 2 out of the 4 fires they said today were the 2 worst fires in Los Angeles' history. Naturally, the leadership at the top of California, nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. They're either in Ghana or they've got their head up their ass or a great many other things. It could be a million other things. But Donald Trump called it. Donald Trump called it. We're going to show you that clip from him on Joe Rogan a little bit later on in the show. Also, Sunny Hostin over on The View. You guys know I'm particularly a fan of Sunny Hostin, considering she may or may not be the dumbest person on the planet. It turns out her husband is one of the defendants in a huge medical insurance fraud scheme. Right. We didn't all see that coming. Also, Joe Biden doing what really needs to be done, doing the important work of, at this time, making sure that Ukraine gets $500 million, all while people in Western North Carolina are going to be thrown out on the street very, very soon. Before we get started, though, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video. Oh, here we go. Where do we go here? Boom. Before we get started, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Shout out to everybody watching in all the chats. Let's check this chat over here. Lori Maloney, how are you? Tim Huff, Jeanette, how's it going? Everybody watching on X, please do me a favor. Hit that repost button. It really does help the show grow. It really does help the show grow. On to the Rumble chat. What's happening? Moods for Trump. Also, guys, if you want to see your chat pop up on the screen, you've got to go to rumble.com/LFATV because I can only have one chat up on the screen at a time. Only have one chat up on the screen at a time. Redneck, what's happening? R-Star, how is it going? Really sad stuff coming out of California. There's some videos that I don't even want to show you, to be totally honest with you. There was one from the Weather Channel that appeared. Hey, what's up, Uncle Richie? There was one that appears to show a dead body, the remains of a dead body. Absolutely horrifying stuff. Absolutely horrifying. Now, some disingenuous people out there seem to be celebrating this because, well, the Palisades area of Los Angeles is all rich people. First off, no, it isn't. Second off, if you're thinking that, you're a genuinely terrible person, and I hope terrible things happen to you. Now, with that being said, everyone involved in this, Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, who is useless in Congress, and now she's useless as the mayor of Los Angeles. She's finding out that being the head of something is actually a job you have to show up to. You know, like being supervisor of a town. You can't just take off and go hunting whenever you want. You actually have to show up for the job. Being a member of Congress, being a member of the Senate, you're just one in a bunch of people. So if you don't show up, you know, the gravy train keeps moving. But when you're at the top, when you're a supervisor, when you're a mayor, when you're a governor, when you're a president, you can't just take off whenever the hell you want. And when you come back from your random, unnecessary trip to Guyana, it turns out reporters might have some basic questions for you, while Karen Bass sits there on the tarmac at LAX in some sort of a comatose, catatonic state.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up, Boss? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home? Madam Mayor, let me ask you just again, have you anything to say to the citizens today as you return?
No. Ma'am, hold on 1 second.
Madam Mayor, just a few words for the citizens today as you return to deal with the catastrophe.
Can you take this down?
David, as you say,
Karen Bass is an absolute coward. An absolute coward. But you have to answer for these things. You have to actually be on the job when you're the head of something. Most people don't know that. They think they can just walk into like a legislative body and talk crap and then leave. But when you're at the top, you actually have to show up for the job. Just in case anyone out there is watching. You know, I'm not mentioning any names in particular. Watch out for that golf ball. But that was for one person in particular. They'll understand that joke. When this is what happens, and I've said this several times about politicians in this country and what will end up happening to them, okay? What happened? Many people want to know how Kamala Harris made it all the way to the vice presidency and almost the president of the United States. I'm going to tell you exactly how it happens, okay? When you're on a local level, when you're a local councilman, when you're a local legislator, and you're a pain in the ass, most people just want to get rid of you. And the easiest way to get rid of somebody is to promote them. So someone like Kamala Harris, she was useless as the district attorney of San Francisco, so they sent her to Sacramento. And then she was useless as the attorney general, so they sent her to the Senate. And then she was useless in the Senate, so they made her vice president. And then, holy shit, Joe Biden's brain died, and she became the Democratic nominee for president. The same thing happened with Karen Bass. She was in Congress. She was a giant pain in the ass. So what did they do? They sent her back to Los Angeles. And now it turns out, when she's putting together a budget in a place that always goes on fire, she decided to cut 2% of the fire department budget. Who could have thunk that maybe that would have been a problem? I mean, never would have saw that coming. Never would have believed that would have happened. I mean, what? In Los Angeles, okay? Like, the last thing you want to cut is the fire department budget because you live in a place that has wildfires. I don't think I'm I don't think I'm like a city planner or anything, or, you know, I'm not going to run for mayor anytime soon, but I also have a brain. In just a minute, we're going to describe how overeducated people and environmentalists ruin everything, because they do. They absolutely do. And I'm going to call out a few people on social media who are, and I want to say this gently, dumbasses. Genuine dumbasses. I mean, like they should be sitting in the corner with a pointy hat on. Instead of saying dunce, says dumbass. Before we get to that, Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, My Pillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog beds.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD, for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. Now, before I start shitting on people, and I'm going to shit on them, before I do that, I want to make it very clear. Look, California is in the middle of a drought. It is. No doubt. There is no question about that. It is very dry. It turns out when you build a giant city in the middle of a desert, that's going to happen from time to time. It turns out Los Angeles is absolutely gorgeous. No doubt. No doubt LA is beautiful. The weather is phenomenal. You know, maybe stay away from where the Dodgers play if you don't want to get carjacked and killed. But, you know, other than that, it's pretty good. Rodeo Drive, very nice. Pretty people full of Botox, cheating on their wives. LA is gorgeous, all right? But it turns out when you build a city in the middle of the desert, you're going to run out of water from time to time, which shouldn't come as a shock to anybody. With that being said, for all the fire experts that are out there, for all the wildfire enthusiasts who are trying to tell me you can't use salt water to put out fires because it's corrosive, you know what else is corrosive? Uncontrollable flames. Uncontrolled flames. That's pretty damn corrosive as well. The fact that LA, in times of drought, do not have some kind. Look, I am not an engineer. I am not a city planner. I am not a fire expert. I'm just a regular guy with a microphone, okay? So I've got some questions. The fact that there isn't some kind of a pipe or a drainage system or anything like that that goes from the 800-mile coastline into the fire hydrants to make sure they're full is mind-blowing. Now, with that being said, you're right. You're absolutely right. If you spray salt water on buildings and you spray it on it, salt water is incredibly corrosive. I know that. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I live on an island. I'm very aware, okay? Very aware. However, if you ask the 5 people who have been burned alive, or you ask the like 20,000 structures that have been set ablaze, whether or not they're worried about a little salt water corroding their pipes, I think they would have told you they would have taken that over being set on fire. Look, I don't know, but I know. Like, I don't have a study that proves it. I don't need to hire Pew Research to do an analysis on whether or not people would rather have their homes burnt to the ground or a little bit of salt building up on their windows. This is not challenging stuff. Here was just some of the stuff we got. Here was actor Jimmy Woods on CNN talking about what's been going on.
I'm 77 years old, man. I can't walk up these hills. It's like Mount Everest there. It's like, pretty steep. So, it's just you. I posted this on X, but Sarah was on with her 8-year-old niece last night. And she came out. I'm sorry. Just, one day you're swimming in the pool and the next day it's all gone. But she came out with her little Yeti piggy bank for us to rebuild our house.
Oh my gosh. James Woods, we all hope that you will be able to rebuild your house, maybe starting with that little Yeti piggy bank. And we're just glad that you're okay and your wife is okay.
I'm sorry.
You have your
I'm
lives.
usually.
Yeah, no,
I
I
thought-
this is real and it's raw.
I thought I
and
would
you,
be stronger than this.
you don't need, you are, you know what? Strength is not measured by whether, you hold in crying or not. Strength is what you are doing now and helping your neighbors and shining a light on the great, amazing work of all those firefighters and emergency crews out there. You have
they're
so much
great.
strength, and
They're
we
great.
appreciate you coming on to reflect what so many others just like you are experiencing in that raw emotion right now. We wish you the best, you and your wife, as you rebuild your lives. So many people are doing that right now and trying to process what's going on. So, James, and also keep us posted on your 94-year-old neighbor and everything going there. We're going to continue to talk, and we wish you the very
He's
best.
okay. He's okay.
Yeah.
They found him. He's in the hospital.
He's okay, yeah.
I just worry. If anybody knows where Robert Trinkteller is, call me.
Yeah.
Let me know. All right.
That's
Thank you
an
so
important
much.
message, and also there's this app that's really important.
It is tragic. And look, a guy like Jimmy Woods, legendary actor. You guys remember him from Casino and dozens of other movies. He has the platform to be able to tell his story, but so many other people don't. And there are so many people out there. There are so many people on X and these dickhead liberals like Kyle Kulinski. Oh, well, the rich people, they've got the money to rebuild. It's not about that, man. It's not about that. And so many people along the Pacific Palisades, in the Pacific Palisades area, they're just regular people, man. But they have been screwed over. They have been lied to. And when they look to their leaders, they get stuff like this. Like, look, Gavin Newsom, it wouldn't shock me if the snake oil that Gavin Newsom sells is what started these fires. Okay? He is the biggest charlatan, useless politician in America, and very, very likely to be the Democratic nominee in 2028. Here he was talking to Anderson Cooper, giving absolutely the wrong answer.
What is the situation with the water? Obviously, in Palisades, ran out last night in the hydrants. I was talking to the firefighter on this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe 1 fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's going to be determined by the local.
I mean, is there a more apt, you know what, I'm going to play that again because I'm going to talk over it. Is there a more apt image in the history of America than the heir to the Vanderbilt fortune talking to the rich governor of California in front of a home that has been set on fire? Is there a more apt image you've ever seen in your entire life than this? Gavin Newsom not giving answers, head in the sand, talking to the heir to the Vanderbilt fortune, pretending to be a journalist, all while saying, the locals will deal with it. The locals will deal with it because I'm governor of California and I've got more important shit to worry about. I've got more important things to worry about. I've got to run for president. Me. Somebody check on my hair. Is there a more useless person in America than Gavin Newsom? I don't think so. I don't think there is. And some of the footage coming out of this nightmare, while Gavin Newsom says, "Oh, don't worry, the locals will worry about it," while Karen Bass sits there in a catatonic state like she just took too much Xanax. Here's what the people have to deal with.
Bro, this is apocalypse in California. Bro, real life apocalypse in California. Everything is burning to the ground. You guys, it's like a zombie land. Look at this. Look at this, bro. Everything's burning to the ground, you guys. People left their cars. They left everything behind. Newscaster out. Man. If this ain't crazy, then what's crazy, you guys? Is the world coming to an end? Oh my God, look at the grocery store. Look at this shit, you guys. What the fuck? Oh my God. Real life apocalypse. Wow. The food market is burning down. Burns up. Everything's gone. What? The elementary school?
I mean, that looks like you're playing, I don't know, Fallout 3 for all my gamer nerds out there. Some sort of post-apocalyptic universe. Don't worry, the locals will handle it. Absolutely sickening. Gavin Newsom ought to be ashamed of himself. But Gavin Newsom has no shame. No shame whatsoever. Now, it is no secret at all, that this has been an ongoing problem in California. This is a national story that everyone knew about. That California, which has a lot of wildfires, and look, idiots online will yell, "Don't politicize this. It's about climate change," which is an odd juxtaposition to say in the middle of that sentence. But California has always had wildfires. And we know a way to reduce wildfires is by forest management. What is forest management? Well, when trees fall down, you send people in to clean up the debris. That way the dead trees don't catch on fire as easy, because dead trees catch on fire much easier, I should say, excuse me, than ones that are alive. That's obvious. That's obvious to anybody who's ever started a fire in their backyard, in their fire pit. If you were a Boy Scout, you go camping. Everybody knows that. The only people who don't seem to know that are the people who run California. So, while they dump billions and billions and billions of dollars into exacerbating the homeless crisis, which I want to make something very clear, I'm not going on this yet because we've seen sporadic images of it so far. But it seems like some of this is man-made. Homeless people setting fires to keep warm. Now, do I blame the homeless people for starting a fire to keep warm? No. I don't blame them at all. But everyone knows this. Let's just see. Here's a guy from Boston talking to a guy from New York. You may know who both of them are. Talking about how everyone knows this happens in California and nobody seems to want to do anything about it.
They said, "We have no water." I said, "Do you have a drought?" "No, we don't have a drought." I said, "Why don't you have no water?" "Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north of water, more water than they could ever use. And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets poured. I could have water for all of that land water for your forests. You know, your forests are dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dangerous.
That water could be routed. You know, you could have everything. Oh, not only dangerous, billions of dollars a year they spend on forest fires. And, you know, there's a case with the environment. They're not allowed to rake their forests because you're not allowed to touch it. And all they have to do is clean their forest, meaning rake it up, get rid of the leaves, get rid of, leaves that are sitting there for 5 years. And
We'll certainly get rid of the dead fall.
And get rid of the trees that are fallen.
Yeah.
That, are
I mean, it's not rocket science. There's a guy from New York and a guy from Boston explaining forest management to people in California. But, no. You see, because there is a condition in American politics where if Donald Trump says something, Democrats must do the opposite. Donald Trump says you need to spend a little bit of money, fixing up your forest, cleaning up your forest. And Democrats go, well, Trump said it, so it must be bad. Sometimes I wish Donald Trump would come out and say that oxygen is good for you. Therefore, a bunch of Democrats would put a bag over their head. Metaphorically speaking. Gotta make sure I throw that in there. Donald Trump and Joe Rogan said it, so it must be a right-wing talking point. So much so that it's not only the liberal hacks over on CNN who continue this baloney. It's not only that. It is, in fact, your local reporters. Because, look, most people, and this is by polling data, most people trust their local reporters, whatever you're watching, I know a lot of local reporters. They're good people. But when it comes to the media, if you look at, Pew data and you look at Gallup polling and whatnot, most people trust their local reporters. Ran into one of my local reporters at a party last week. Really nice guy. Ran into our local weatherman, too. Some of you from Long Island may know him. He's wrong all the time, but he's a very nice guy. And yesterday we played you a clip on the show of Richard Caruso. He's a real estate developer in California, which means he has the single hardest job on the planet. He ran against Karen Bass for mayor of Los Angeles. And I want you to just check out, I want you guys to check out what this local reporter says about the fire hydrants. Fire hydrants? What an odd sort of... What the hell is a local reporter going to comment about fire hydrants? Before we get to that, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Let's pop that live chat up onto the screen. Big number today. I'm liking it a lot. Make sure you guys say hello, guys, in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Jersey Jane, are you from New Jersey? We're going to be doing a lot of big stuff out in New Jersey. Shout out to Marissa watching on X. As always, helping to promote the show. As always, doing her damn thing. I'm liking it a lot. Sammy Yoakum, how are you? Uncle Rich, how are you? Oh, Frank Jedlick is in the chat. Watch it from Clearwater. Clearwater? Frank, where the hell do you live? I don't know. Everywhere in Florida is the same. There's Miami, there's the Panhandle, there's Disney World, and there's everywhere else. Sergeant Eddie. What's happening? Watching from Massapequa. I'm liking it. Let's see. We got Virginia, Stormfield, or News 12? News 12. Hello from Columbia, Missouri. That's where Mizzou is, right? A lot of Missouri in the chat. Watching from Orange Park, Florida. Is that Orange County, Florida? Is Orange Park, Florida in Orange County? I think I'm headed down there soon. Georgia, what's happening? What is going on, everybody? Guys, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you're sharing the video out. Make sure you're following rumble.com/LFATV. If you're watching on Facebook, do me a favor. Hit that little @ button. Bing, right there. Tag your followers so they can watch the show as well. East of Pittsburgh, our star. Actually, for all my Pennsylvanians out there, I don't know if you guys saw last night, I was on Matt Gaetz' show with the guy who runs Chase the Ballot Pennsylvania, We were talking about all the big stuff going on. A lot of Missouri in the chat. A lot of Missouri. Also, guys, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor real quick, click my name in the chat. Follow this page too. Boom. Guys, click my name in the chat. That's Loud Majority US. Rumble.com/Loud Majority US. Follow that page. That really, really helps me out on a personal level. So, as I said, a lot of people trust their local news anchors because you see them a lot more. You see them more often. Well, here's Fox 11, obviously a partisan hack, because a Republican, Robert Caruso, I think it's Robert Caruso or Richard Caruso, one of the two, because a Republican said something, he must disavow it, except for the fact that 5 seconds later, his reporter in the field confirms the exact story.
Former LA mayoral candidate and real estate developer Rick Caruso criticizing the city's response to the windstorm and fires. He says officials should have been more prepared.
The real issue to me is twofold. We've had decades to go remove the brush in these hills that spreads so quickly. And the second is you got to have water. And my understanding is the reservoir was not refilled in time and in a timely manner to keep the hydrants going. So that's a failure, whether on DWP's part or another city agency. But this is basic stuff. This isn't high science here. And it's all about leadership and management that we're seeing a failure of. And all of these residents are paying the ultimate price for that.
Despite what you have heard from Caruso, no firefighters have told us that they are running out of water.
And let's go out to Gigi Graciette. She is live in Pacific Palisades. I know your signal's not the best, but Gigi, what can you tell us?
Well, firefighters have told me they have no water on this block, and you may be able to make out the ember storm that we're in the middle of right now. This house is going to be a total loss. They have no water to put on this fire. They are standing by because they're trying to save the home that is next to it.
Oh, you mean no one's told you? Anchor who's sitting safely inside of some news inside of some news studio. Nobody told you. Well, I'll tell you what, buddy. Why don't you get on your little yellow jacket, get out of the newsroom, and go do some reporting? What a thought. No, you won't do that. You'll send the lady out there because you're a big, strong man. People pulling things directly out of their asses. Directly out of their asses. Now, some people, I'll be honest, some people actually did decide to go out. But, you know, let's be honest. When you're on TV, when you're one of these people who drowned in Lake Me, you got to make sure you look good on TV, you know? You got to make sure you look good on television because that's what's important. Not getting the story right. You got to make sure when you put on your little fireman jacket, David Muir, you have to make sure that the audience knows that you take care of that body, brother. Watch this. You want to talk, now remember, David Muir, host of ABC News, Big Bad Broadcast News. Literally the most watched newsman in the world by ratings. Look at how fake this guy is. Give me 1 second.
Bro, this is apocalypse in California.
Shopping, a place to eat. And as you can see here behind me, it's been completely wiped away. There are still flames burning from multiple buildings.
He put clothespins on the back of his jacket so that his what would you say, his fake fireman coat would look nice and taut around his body. That's what David Muir thought was important in this story. Unreal. These people have no shame whatsoever. No shame. And then they wonder why we don't trust a single damn one of them. Because people out there like David Muir were more concerned with how his pecs looked in his little fireman coat than actually reporting the real story, than actually showing people images like I'm going to show you in a minute. Before we get to that, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That's your home base, your mothership, your landing pad for all things LFA TV related. Check out the LFA TV store. And while you guys are there, consider becoming a monthly donor over here to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. Click my name in the chat. Follow this page. Boom. Guys, do me a favor. Once again, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. How is it going? A fireman coat that has an ABC logo patch on the front. Yeah. Yeah. That way you know he's really on the scene, you know. Out of control. Why don't you guys trust us anymore? Maybe because you're the most vain, selfish, loathsome people I've ever seen in my entire life. Maybe that's why. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. Wait, what is that? Jack Osborne called Muir's fashion fireman coat wooden pegs. Dover, I got to be honest with you. You talking about Jack Osborne like Ozzy's kid? A and B, I don't know what the hell that means. I'm sure it was is it like a British thing that I don't understand? Could be. Could very well be. So while David Muir was outside making sure his chest looked real good in his little fireman coat, he decided not to show you the images like this. And guys, this is an entire neighborhood gone. It's all just absolutely horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. I mean, aside from the billions and billions and billions of dollars it's going to take to rebuild this, aside from any of that, these people are never going to be made whole. Family heirlooms and memories and all that, it's all gone. And it didn't have to be. I'm not saying this could have been stopped because, you know, natural disasters happen, but it could have been mitigated. It could have been mitigated. And believe me, I could go all day long on insurance companies which just a couple of months ago denied coverage and dropped the plans for a great many of the people over there. You guys know that I have a disdain for insurance salesmen. The only thing worse than insurance salesmen are people that own newspapers. But insurance salesmen are the worst. An act of God. That's why I pay you, dipshit. For anybody who's ever had a deal with any insurance company denying some sort of claim, you know, you could sit back, and I'm not saying it, but you could understand why Louis Mangione shot that guy in the back. I mean, whether it's flood insurance in Florida, hurricane insurance in Florida, whether it's tornado insurance in Kansas, Nebraska, the whole middle of the country, fire insurance, flood insurance in Seattle, they're going to find a way to get you. But remember, when Flo from Progressive comes on TV, she's really funny. So you don't mind that the insurance company is usually serving you up a big bag of bull. Jake from State Farm, he's so funny. Of course, we'll ignore the fact that we switched out Jake from State Farm from the original fat white guy to a new handsome black guy, and we're going to pretend nobody noticed. Don't worry, yeah, we'll just move right past that. The gecko, guys, he's so nice. Geico, yeah. They're going to find a way to screw you. And I promise you, and if there is one silver lining in this tragedy, it is going to be that I predict extreme insurance reform in this country following this. Because there will be investigation after investigation about people that got dropped from their plans, people that got dropped from their premiums, or people whose premiums went so high that they couldn't afford to pay it, so they just got rid of it themselves. Particularly in a place where you have to have insurance in order to get a mortgage. They can charge you anything they want. And you just got to bend over and take it. They all ought to belong in jail, I'm just saying. Or maybe not in jail, but how about a stern ass kicking? Just a public beating. Meh. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? But don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Because Joseph Robinette Biden is on the case. Joe Biden is on the case, everybody, because while California burns to the ground, Joe Biden is back in D.C. approving aid. He's approving aid to a destroyed area called Ukraine, as Joe Biden approves another $500 million headed over to that war-torn shithole that we should have given up on years ago, but for some reason are still paying the bills for. Yep, Joe Biden approves $500 million in aid to Ukraine just 11 days before Trump takes office, because Joe Biden has the interest of the American people at heart. And by that, I mean sending more money over to a third world Eastern European shithole that, if it's not part of Russia now, used to be part of Russia. And let's be honest, it's going to be part of Russia again anyway. We're just delaying the inevitable here, okay? And guess what? When it does, I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care. You know why I'm not going to care? Because it turns out that aside from the people living in the Pacific Palisades who have just lost everything, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars destroyed, evaporated overnight, lest we forget, there are still people in Western North Carolina who are about to be evicted from their hotel rooms because FEMA doesn't want to cover that nut anymore. And let's ignore the fact that tonight it's going to be 14 degrees in the Black Hills. FEMA, yeah, they don't give a shit.
I'm still waiting on an inspection through FEMA. And I called them yesterday, matter of fact, and she said that, yes, you have an inspection due. Don't know when they're going to contact you. But however, your hotel voucher ends on Friday. You have to be out by Saturday.
Mary Jo Tucker was displaced by the storm. She says that she's been waiting for the inspection from FEMA for quite some time now.
And I don't know when they're going to get this inspection done. And I'm just one of very many people in this hotel that is going to be homeless, and I can't imagine being homeless, especially right now with this storm coming in.
Battling with the cold as she describes her struggles to find safe accommodations.
I can't imagine what's going to happen in 2 days, not being able to sleep in a bed or be warm at night, you know?
News 13 reached out to FEMA. The agency would not comment on specific cases, but says if a household has pending inspection, they are still eligible for transitional sheltering assistance. FEMA says that it's taken the agency between 4 to 5 days to fulfill an inspection request. They say anyone with questions should contact the FEMA helpline or visit a disaster recovery center.
So these people are going to be evicted from their homes, but as long as Vladimir Zelensky can afford his cocaine and his wife can afford $30,000 handbags, we all ought to be good. But Kevin, it's going to fund Raytheon and Boeing, which are jobs here in America. Yeah, why don't we pump the brakes on that and go towards, I don't know, making sure that that young lady doesn't fall asleep on the street tonight in the frozen-ass Black Hills of Western North Carolina. What the hell is the point of government if not to take care of those people when they're in bad shape through no fault of their own? You want to shoot heroin and live in Washington Square Park and freeze to death? You go right ahead. That's up to you. But that girl, Jimmy Woods, they didn't do anything to anybody. They lived in the wrong place at the wrong time. And for any of my Long Islanders out here, for any of my people from North Jersey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because 15 years ago with Hurricane Sandy, we dealt with the exact same thing. And many of us got hung out to dry by organizations like FEMA that we pay into. All while making sure to rebuild Iraq. Another third world shithole that I don't care about. You shouldn't speak like that about other countries. Yeah, well, stop living in the Stone Age, and then maybe I won't say those sorts of things. I'm fired up today. But don't worry, at the end of the show today, we are going to have some fun. At the end of the show today, we're going to play the last 10 minutes of the show today are going to be all funny things. Why? Because I'm aggravated. Because the only thing it seems like didn't catch on fire in the L.A. fires with the oil in Gavin Newsom's hair, which quite frankly should have been the first thing to go ablaze. Before we get to the fun stuff, because we've got a funny Scott Jennings clip, we've got Joe Biden's greatest hits. I'm going to play that for a little bit because we need to chuckle up a little bit. We got to giggle, we got to laugh, ha ha ha. I got a story about Sonny Hostin that there's no way I'm not talking about. And then there's a video of Jimmy Carter's funeral. But it's not about Jimmy Carter. Just laugh. Before we get to that, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support everything we've got going on over here at the Loud Majority. You guys know how much we appreciate it. All the good stuff over there. We got Valentine's Day cards and we got whiskey glasses. We got the new inauguration t-shirt that is selling like hotcakes. Selling like absolute hotcakes. Giddy up, let's go. I'm liking it a lot. You guys will love it too. You guys can use promo code LFA. Promo code LFA to get 20% off everything on the website. That's promo code LFA to get 20% off everything on the website. Go to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. So, real quick, I do want to give a shout out to a good friend before we tell the funny stories. I'll give a big shout out. I gave him congratulations already, but big shout out to my friend Matt Gates with his phenomenal new show on OAN. If you guys have Sling TV, make sure you guys check out OAN. You're going to see me on there regularly. I made my first appearance on OAN last night. Here that was.
Kevin, I want to go to you on the vertically integrated nature of this strategy Cliff just laid out. They're not just looking at the presidential race. They're going to go into the off-year midterms. They're going to fight on the governor ballot. They're going to fight on the school board ballots. What does that do to ignite the activism around the country when we take that type of a thorough approach?
Absolutely. And, just like Cliff was saying, showing that we're able to win Pennsylvania is giving energy to people in New York, where I am, in New Jersey, who has a governor race in 2021. We're able to see that when you put in the work, when organizations like Cliff's put in the work, you're able to make actual change. We saw President Trump do better in every one of the 5 boroughs of New York City than any presidential candidate in my lifetime. And it's because he showed up when Republicans, when activists show up in neighborhoods they may not traditionally win, the people come out. We did a voter registration drive in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn. We registered almost 250 people in one day. That tells me that there is an untapped resource inside of our major metropolitan areas that no one is looking at. And it's up to activists and regular people to go out and do it, because the parties certainly aren't going to. So, guys, make sure you check out OAN. I'm on that network like 4 times a day at this point. Between Matt Gaetz and Chanel Rion, great stuff. Once again, congratulations, Matt, for the new show. Great success coming forward. Very excited about that. So, what do you guys want to do? What do you guys? I'm gonna pop the live chat up on the screen because I want to know what you guys want to talk about first. We got like 5 minutes left. Do we want to talk about Sunny Hostin? Do we want to talk about what happened at Jimmy Carter's funeral, or do we want to see the Scott Jennings clip? Which one do we want? Which one do we want? Sunny Hostin, Scott Jennings, or Jimmy Carter? I want to know what you guys want to know. I want to see what you guys want to see first. Because I promise you, every one of them is just as funny. Every one of them is just as funny. As you guys are hitting that thumbs up button, share the video out all over the place. Make sure you guys are following my channel as well. Follow this page. But all right, it seems like, you know, and I got to be honest, Scott Jennings seems to be winning quite a lot. At all times, Scott Jennings seems to be winning. So here's Scott Jennings congratulating Democrats on this election. Pretty wild. Why would Scott Jennings be congratulating Democrats? Abby Phillips wasn't having any of it, by the way, because she's a big party pooper.
On this Harris business, I think before we canonize St. Kamala here on the high holy day of January 6th, let's remember the Electoral Count Reform Act of 2022 makes it perfectly clear that the vice president has nothing but purely ministerial duties on this day. She didn't actually certify the results of the election. That's done by the voters and the people of the
It was clear as day 4 years ago as well, but because of the
that's the thing. I mean, nobody's trying to canonize her. The same thing was true.
Oh, they're not. I mean, she put out a video trying to canonize herself.
She was actually just saying it's unremarkable. That's true.
That's the opposite of canonizing. I want to actually congratulate the Democrats today. This is the first election since 1980.
He's doing this again.
This is the first election since 1988 that a Republican won, and Democrats did not try to overturn the results on the floor of the Congress. So congratulations, Democrats.
I'm only interrupting you because we've heard this before.
We've played this. Well, you've heard the truth before, but I thought it was worth repeating.
There's no one better than Scott Jennings. Also, it's great to see Adam Kinzinger sitting on someone's thumb, which that's kind of the face he was making there. That's the, you know, when you sit down and something's on the chair. Ooh, yeah. So good to see Adam Kinzinger not crying like a little bitch again. So we started out with Scott Jennings laughing, giggling, hee ha ha. Now let's go to the next funny story. We're gonna go to Jimmy Carter's funeral. Kevin, what the hell could be funny about Jimmy Carter's funeral? Well, guys, at one point, Kamala Harris turned around and saw Donald Trump and Barack Obama yucking it up. Just chit-chatting, laughing, and, well, to say she wasn't thrilled about it, yeah. First off, look at Donald Trump just grilling her. Just staring her down. You evil woman. And there it is. Did you guys miss it? We'll play it one more time. She turns around and sees President Obama and Donald Trump talking. She rolls her eyes so hard they almost fall out of her head. That moment will live on in American history. It will live on in infamy. The only person I really feel bad for in that situation is Doug Emhoff, because you know Kamala Harris is probably so mad that right now, since they've already left the funeral, she's currently in a limousine beating the shit out of him because, you know, that's how Kamala Harris gets out of frustrations. She knocks back like a box of wine and then beats up her husband. You know, one of those other things I can't confirm, but, you know, probably. Probably. Last hilarious story of the day. I love this because I hate her. The View's Sunny Hostin. Sunny Hostin, the person who's supposed to be the smart one on the show, turns out her husband's a big giant fraud. The View stars Sunny Hostin's surgeon husband accused of insurance fraud in a sweeping federal lawsuit. The orthopedic surgeon, Emmanuel Manny Hostin, is among nearly 200 defendants named in the lawsuit. Oh, really? Oh, really? According to the Daily Mail, Hostin and other defendants were allegedly receiving kickbacks for performing surgeries and fraudulently billing insurance companies that provided for Uber, Lyft, and other taxi companies. Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries. So this piece of shit was doing surgeries on people that they didn't need to have in order to bill insurance companies out for surgeries that weren't necessary. Lovely guy. Lovely guy. And I just want to say on another level, whoever found this photograph of the two of them is doing them absolutely no justice. Do you think Sunny Hostin knows that she's smiling in this photo? I don't think she does. I don't think she does. Oh, and by the way, what are those glasses? Spike Lee called. He wants his glasses back. Guys, it's 2 o'clock. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. All the good stuff. Use promo code LFA to get 20% off. Guys, Will Johnson is coming up next. I will catch you guys back live tomorrow. Until then, everybody, stay loud.